Hello, friends, and welcome to Figure Study, where we appreciate the form in Transformers or Korean transforming toys based on a kids' show, which I don't think is in the US. That's right, we're back with Tobots, and now we're looking at Tobot Combiner Quatran, also Quadrant. Yeah, I don't know why the name discrepancy, but this is the combiner that came out before Deltatron, but I got him after Deltatron. And I'm assuming he's called Quatran, whatever, because 4 vehicles instead of Deltatron's 3. And just to get this out of the way up front, they are pretty big again. Especially this guy. That's a pretty big Firetruck. So yes, big Tonka truck style vehicles like previously. We're gonna start with the smallest one here. And again, similar to Deltatron, you've got the different color molded plastics, which is really nice. And always with the painted rims, which I definitely appreciate. And then the translucent rear lights. Now, Quatran's vehicles do have a little bit less detail on them compared to Deltatron's, just in terms of paint. Also, there were some stickers that I ended up applying. I didn't apply all of them because I thought a lot of them were stupid, but I did apply the little Kia logo sticker there. And these two also have little Kia logos on the front, and then the police car, this whole grille section here, the black section there, was actually a sticker. There were also stickers for the lower rear taillights on this guy, and I put them on and then one of them fell off, so then I lost it, so I just took the other one off because screw it. But yeah, you know, I mean, this came out before Deltatron, so I can't really complain about there being not quite as much paint on it because, you know, it's kind of, they're working their way up, but still not bad looking. And this orange really stands out. Also, I don't quite understand why these rear wheels do this. The front wheels don't do anything. These do this, and I don't understand it. But, yeah. I mean, aside from some of the clips that are very obvious here and like the panel stuff, this is not a bad-looking vehicle. Tiny, almost Mini Cooper-looking thing. I know it's not a Mini Cooper, because it's actually a Kia vehicle, but still, nice-looking. This one, which is apparently Tobot D, has much more paint on it. Like that stripe going down there. Not a huge fan of the stripe, but eh. And of course, the different colored lights. And this is actually pretty clever. They they have screws in the tailpipes. So it kind of works as detail as well as being functional. But yeah, same deal here. With the clear and the different colored plastics and the nice molding and the nice painting and all that good stuff. And if you've seen the Deltatron review, you might recognize this guy. This guy actually made up one of Deltatron's legs, only he was red. For some reason, Tobot likes to do weird alternate colors when they go into combine mode. I don't really know why. I don't know if that's a show thing or what, but yeah. I don't know, still a decent looking little sport coupe. Then we have Tobot C, which is a police car, and only has the logo and police thing on one side, not the other. There was a sticker to put it on the other side, but the sticker was actually metallic, so it had like the metallic backing, and I thought that would actually look worse than having nothing, because then you'd have this nice kind of tampograph symbol stuff here, and then on the other side it'd be like metallic and weird looking. But yeah, police car also looks nice. Has this almost gunmetal-y gray stripe going from front to back. The nice translucent rear lights, the translucent siren lights, or flashing lights, translucent front lights, and then the nice painted details in here. And then this is that sticker I was talking about, but the silver around the outside, that's painted. Also has the C logo on the top there, and that gray is actually a separate plastic. That's not painted. The C is, but that shield logo isn't. So yeah, Also a neat vehicle mode. The only real issue I have with this one is there's this oddly shaped rear window, and like there's no line like etched in here to indicate that this is where it like would cut off and there'd be like roof up here. So I don't really know what the deal is, but that's just kind of odd to me. It just kind of goes whoop. But whatever. Still not a bad looking police car. And then the Firetruck, which is a bunch of red and some alternate like dark gray and some black plastics. Nicely painted wheels. Some nice molded details in here for the sides of the Firetruck. Not much going on in back, but whatever. And for some reason, the emergency number is 119 instead of 911. I don't know if that's like a mistranslation or just what you call in Korea, but still, it's there. It's a detail. And then there's also all this wonderful silver paint that goes along the front here. And the little gold for the crest there. A little disappointing that while there's the red clear plastic for the siren lights, whatever, flashers up top, there isn't really anything for the headlights. I honestly can't tell what on this is headlights, like if it's these or these sections up here, but, you know, you don't get combiners for their individual vehicle modes, right? Right, so, oh, where to begin with this? Let's start with one of these guys. This is going to make an arm. And again, as with Deltatron, I'm going to transform them individually and then show off their individual bits, and then we can work on putting them all together off camera, because yay. All right, come on. Come on. Push out. There we go. That clicks up. Then there's this bit here that actually... Oh, listen. Yeah, that's gonna... That's a loud ratchet. And that comes around, and you just kind of get it like that. And now, what you do here is you're supposed to flip this out, and then you can pull out the fist, but I actually find that it's best to just give that elbow a couple more clicks in so you can get a little bit more space. Then you reach in here, and flip out the hand, put that back, and then straighten all that out again. And that is an arm, and it's not a bad looking arm. I actually really like how there's the extra detail that comes out once you split this open on both sides, because there's also some detail in there. And then some decent detail on the arm that you don't even really see in robot mode, but not bad. And the detail on the hand there. I like that it says left, just in case you can't tell that the side that doesn't have the screw holes is the side that's supposed to be facing out. So that's one arm. This one, almost exactly the same. It's a slightly smaller vehicle. The only real difference is instead of the entire back coming up, you just have this little section here that pulls out. And then flip that through as usual. And now the only other difference is this folds down like that to just kind of keep it a little bit more flush and in place. And then click, clicky, click, click, click. There we go. And there's a second arm. All right, we are trucking right along here. Now for the torso, and this guy is probably the most complicated of them all. Like, getting this out is a little bit tricky, and I kind of worry about the tolerances of the plastic here, because this clips in really hard and kind of have to bend it a little bit, but they're durable. I'm not too terribly worried. Just pop that up, reach in here and pull this up. That is so loud. I love those ratchets. And then push this forward, and that will actually lock in and keep this from moving back in when it's in combine mode, which is very handy. Then let's turn it upside down, and these flaps pop out, and these will actually clip onto those unsightly little bits on the on the car mode. So they do have a reason for being there. It's just unfortunate that they couldn't come up with something slightly different. And now these parts you're supposed to pull out by tilting it, and it has these little things fall out and you pull, but that's a pain in the butt, and as I've seen a lot of people do in other videos, it's much easier to just start to flip the head out and then push in with your finger. Much easier. And then flip that the rest of the way around, and there we go. Oh, yeah. It's got a very big shelf chest. Yeah, this torso, not a whole lot of detail that's new, but there is some neat stuff on the top here, like these shoulder vent looking things and little details in the collar. And I actually really do like this head sculpt. It's simple, but it's nice. And that is an incredibly fantastic metallic blue shade that they have going along the outside there. Really, really dig that. And then on the underside here, some nice little molded detail in the abdomen, and then even like some little vent details there, which are pretty cool. So yeah, not bad with the torso detail. A little bit awkward shape though. And now this one, and if you're wearing headphones, just a heads up, some of the clips on this guy in particular are very loud. I don't know if they're going to carry through as bad since I'm using a directional mic, but we'll see. So this I thought was cool. These are actually the feet, but when they close up, they complete this design here, which is a nice touch. Anyway, flip these out. Like I said, very loud. Then split the front here, and I find that it's easiest to get your fingers into this little hole back here and just pull out and pop that. And then these parts actually clip onto this too, so you might need to pop that. And then these swing around, and there are clips in here that'll go into the sides on both sides here. And all right. And then this bit is the front, and that actually just slides back and sits back on its own. Click that up, and now here comes the loud part, so steel yourself. Alright. Don't think it was that bad this time. And there you've got Quatran's legs. And they're not bad looking. It's actually I actually kind of like how the tires almost double up a little bit here. And you've got some nice little painted details there. Little bit narcissistic that it's got his name kind of on his knee pads there, but whatever. And then some nice little unnecessary but appreciated robot detail in the thighs. And then, you know, all that good stuff. I also think it's kind of neat how the backs of the Firetruck are actually angled so that when he sits, it kind of gives him that A stance. And yeah, that is Quadrant, whatever, in his individual bits, and now we're going to get him combined up. And here we have Quatran, Quadrant, whatever, all combined up, and now it's funny because this one came first, or before Deltatron. The transformation is a little bit more involved than Deltatron, and honestly, I think Deltatron's a tiny bit more fun to transform back and forth because it's just that a little bit simpler, a little bit more intuitive. There are a few extra steps and really tight clips with these bits that I think are a little bit it's not that they're not fun, it's just they're a bit more involved compared to Deltatron. But I like the results for this better. Deltatron is not bad by any means. I really, really like Deltatron. But Quadrant, whatever. I love this extremely beefy look. Like the huge legs, the huge arms, the huge shoulders. Very, very cool. Really the only two issues that I have with the combined mode is the ratchets on the hips. They're not loose, not even by a long shot. They are not loose at all, but the outward movement, there's a little bit of play in them so that when you have him out one click, he inevitably sags because of that play in the hips. Because, like, you know, I kind of wish they'd stand like that. But then when I let go, you can see it just kind of spreads out a little bit, which is just kind of a shame. The other issue is this chest shelf here. It's not terrible. I just wish it kind of pushed... I just kind of wish it pushed in a little bit, because it sticks out so much that when he's on a shelf, or even here when the camera's not quite at his eye level, it's like you can, you know, you can't see the whole face because that thing is just sticking out so far. Whereas with Deltatron, you know, it pushed out a little bit, which was fine, but it wasn't so intrusive. I mean, not a deal breaker for me by any means. It's just, you know, I kind of wish it just pushed in a little bit so that you could get a little bit more of a better angle on the face. But yeah, I really, really like the giant chunkiness of this guy. He's more of a brick than Deltatron. I mean, you can turn his head from side to side, you can rotate the arms and go like up and down and bend, but then he's got those like elbows that only bend in, so he's got kind of the forced gorilla arm pose. Can't really do much with the legs other than go out to the sides or bend the knees. You can't actually push it. You can't bend his legs forward. But all things considered, I don't really care because he looks awesome just standing there. Or even like at a slight angle with the head turned. So, no real complaints from me. He's just cool. I love the big chunky look. I love the big shoulders. I really don't mind the blue for Tobot D, because yeah, it stands out a little bit, but it's not like ridiculously standing out. And honestly, like, you know, like you've got the red for the Firetruck is the same red that you see everywhere else, but then like the white for the police car is not quite the same as the white for the torso, and of course you got the blue there, so it's like there's some color discrepancies all around, and I think that's fine. I think it actually works really well. And they do have some design similarities where like you've got that gray line for the police car that also is somewhat mimicked in Tobot D. So yeah, it looks really good. And I'm honestly finding that I'm a pretty big fan of how a lot of these Tobot combiners, when they combine, they take whatever the vehicle is that makes up the torso and turn it upside down to make the chest. It's a weird and simple idea, but it actually, I don't know, it works for me. I really like it. I think it's an interesting aesthetic choice. And I really, really like Quatran, I don't know. I mean, I like all the Tobot combiners that I have, but, you know, I think this guy, for me, honestly, edges out Deltatron just a tiny bit just because of the bulk. Deltatron, I think, is a tiny bit more fun to physically play with and just mess around with, but Quatran is just, I think he looks neater. And again, I've said this before, but I really love that metallic blue for the face. And it's the only place on the figure where it shows up, but I think it's a really, really nice shade of blue. But anyway, yeah, same deal as Quatran, or as Deltatron, really. It's, you know, durable, easy to transform back and forth, although a little bit more complicated than Deltatron. Because with Quatran here, slide him a little closer. To, like, for example, to take him apart, you actually have to disengage things, where, like, you have to, in order to take the arms off, you have to push this switch. Whoop. That's really good, Rob. You have to push this switch in, and that'll allow you to pull the arm off. Otherwise, it's not going to come off. And you just slide it back down to lock it back in place. And then to take the torso off, there's actually like a switch right here that you have to pull down until it clicks. And once it clicks, you can slide the torso back, and that disengages the whole thing. So, a little bit more complicated to transform back and forth, so if you've got kids, you know, something to be aware of. It's not, you know, it's not a difficult toy to transform by any means. It's just a little bit more involved. Hey, so post-video Rob realized that mid-video Rob did not do a size comparison for this guy, so we'll just put Samus back there so you can see. That is how big Quatran, Quadrant, whatever is, and ever so slightly taller than Deltatron, and definitely still like a head taller than an average Combiner Wars combiner. So yeah, big dude. Carry on. But yeah, still fantastic. I'm loving these. I'm not going to get all of them because there are certain Tobot combiners that I've seen that I'm just like, ugh. But I really like the look here, and this guy's also very, very cool. So anyway, that's been my look at Tobot Combiner Quatran, Quadrant, whatever you want to call it. Thank you everybody for watching. As per usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any combination of those three would make me a happy Rob. And remember, art is more than meets the eye.